The Virtual Grip Network and the Bootleg Racing League welcome you to the Super Late Model Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen. Gargamel's Kitchen is a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, and a proud sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. Visit their office at 2045 South Valencia Street or give them a call at 720-707-6178. That's Gargamel's Kitchen. Hello again, everyone. Good evening. I'm Trevor Greenfield. So great to be with you here on Virtual Grip Network. I'll be joined here in the booth, as I have been for several great nights this season, by John Hines. So great to have him here, as well as in the production trailer will be Ryan Seneker. He's going to be bringing you all these great angles that you see on the screen, as well as those great overlays as well. And Lowell Jewell is our producer. And by the way, Lowell Jewell also taking 5th place in the race that preceded this, so very talented racer producer as well. Hey John, great to be with you again tonight. We're here at historic Langley. What can you tell us about what we're looking at tonight here for tonight's race for the Bootleg Racing League?
This little 4/10 of a mile bull ring really presents some challenges for the drivers here, because the corners you've got, you're in the corner for so long, and coming out of these corners is how you set up a pass. And if you get into the gas too early on corner exit, both coming out of 2 and turn 4, you can lose the back end real quick. But like I said, a good way to make a pass here is you get that run coming out. And these guys are going to have to balance patience with aggressiveness tonight. And those two conflicting mindsets can sometimes cause a heck of a lot of problems here.
Absolutely, a lot of problems. And speaking of some unsettling news, unfortunately, it is our duty to report some tragic news that we just learned about with racer Scotty Zerk, part of the Bootleg Racing League family for several years going, many years going here. And John, I think you could tell us a little bit more about that sad news.
Yeah, Scotty was a regular a couple years back, and unfortunately he succumbed to cancer, I believe, this past week here. So our heartfelt condolences go out to Scotty's family, and hope he's kind of watching in on us here tonight and in a better place now. But yeah, tough to lose a member of the community, and I'm sure that he'll be on everybody's minds here tonight that raced with him.
Absolutely, and as well, I'd like to wish heartfelt condolences from myself and all of the VGN and BRL family here. Always sad to lose somebody who's part of the family, and really these racers are like family. This championship, this series, but everybody kind of knows each other, and whenever anybody does pass away that is in that family, it is felt by everyone. So I think tonight we can definitely go ahead and observe a lap tonight in Scotty's honor. In the meantime, though, we do have a race to run. These drivers happy to get out there tonight, and we do have a championship battle. It's a 3-way battle that we'll be getting to here momentarily. There's your championship points on the screen. It is J.R. Shepard and Justin Morton, Austin Belkey, all within 15 points. And it couldn't get much tighter than that. Now, of course, Belkey was 5 points closer, but having some contact with Donnie Moore last week, that knocked him back 5 points, a penalty assessed from the administration here in the Super Late Model Series. Not only that, but Belkey will have to try to get all the way forward from third, and or from the end of line penalty, and so trying to even get up there and challenge J.R. Shepard or Justin Morton tonight is going to be quite a challenge. But John, should be an exciting night for the championship as well. We'll be able to take a look at the starting grid here. Go ahead and take us through the start of the grid for us, John.
Yeah, on the pole tonight is going to be the number 87 of Todd List, and next to him is going to be the 79 of Adam Shane. Starting in the second row is going to be Donnie Moore, and this is number 26 ride. Next to him will be the 28 of Michael Goodman. Then, who is scheduled to start 5th, but will not, is that 24 of Austin Belkey, and to his outside is one of the championship contenders here. That's Justin Morton. Starting in the next row is going to be Kurt Smith, and the number 6 and the number 98 of J.R. Shepard, our current point leader. And in the next row, starting in the 5th row here, is going to be the number 80 of Kevin Moody. Next to him will be Bruce Pearson. rounding out your top 10.
And then we've got Joseph Snyder going to be starting in 11th next to Joe Segala. Brian Dean next to James Lowe. Lowe was very fast in the opening practice. Jeffrey Harden next to Chris Davis. And then Lowell Jewell out there possibly going to be starting tonight's race. That's great. Got somebody in-house to root for, as well as Steve Hilbert be bringing up the back of the field. Actually, Austin Belke, keep your eye on that 24 back there. He'll be starting from the back, but look for him to come forward. Here's Todd Liston bringing us down to the green flag. And already everybody starting to sort themselves out here as we go through the first couple of corners. It's Liston up to the front, but it looks like Shane has had some trouble. Shane and Goodman starting to slide back now. And it does appear as though Donnie Moore has taken over that second spot. So you can see there the 79 car of Shane still trying to hold on the outside, not able to find a way to get back to the inside of the track and get back in line.
Yeah, another one that's had a big problem here on the start is Justin Morton, one of our championship leaders. He has dropped through the field like a rock. The inside line is the way to be. If I'm right early on, all indications are if you're on that outside, you're getting freight trained.
Absolutely, and I don't have any sort of notification. I'm going to have to go back and see specifically what happened to them on the start, but it does appear as though Shane and Morton having real problems dropping all the way to the back. However, it is Donnie Moore who's emerged up at the front, now 2 spots gained, and Liston not ready to quite give it up. He makes a challenge back there in the 87 car, but the 26, Donnie Moore, now in the lead of the race here, working lap number 9. Sorry, lap number 5 there. As we're now...
Contact. We got one.
And we do have some contact. That's Kevin Moody and Stephen Hilbert. Brian Dean appears to be involved. Looks like Chris Davis got through relatively unscathed. I also see a note that possibly Belke involved in that. So we'll have to take a look on screen here and see if we can tell.
He had a little help getting around into the corner, and it really, when everybody is on we're 6 laps in, everybody's right on top of each other. Somebody goes around like that, it's tough to everybody get through and miss everybody.
Yeah, it is one of those things that is, the track may be a little wide, but, wide enough to fit 4 or 5 cars across, but whenever you got an incident that piles up in front of you, there is just nowhere to go. And I just watched, looks like Austin Belke getting away fairly cleanly there in the back, but unfortunately for championship contender Justin Morton, really set back here. Now going to have to chase down J.R. Shepard, who's all the way towards the front there in 5th. He's climbed 3 spots so far tonight from his starting position, but Belke and Morton, championship contenders, going to have to come a long ways to get up there to the front.
Start of the race, Justin Morton blinked out for almost a lap. It was really bizarre, and that's, I think, what led him to going all the way to the back.
It had to be something like that because I just did not see him falling backwards. We saw Adam Shane falling backwards, but yes, indeed, where was Kevin? No, Justin Morton is still in this race, though. He's, you can't quite see him down there. Looks like a little ant there on the screen, but the number 9 car for Total Downforce Racing still in this one, though 8 positions back, and leading us back to the green flag will be Donnie Moore, who managed to snag that lead position away from Todd Liston in that opening stint, and he's looked great so far racing with that ASPCA sponsorship on there, John.
Yeah, Donnie's been at this for a while, so if there's anybody that can get up there and control this race, keep his tires under him, it's Donnie. So it'll be neat to see him, see how long he can stay up there and if he can hold everybody off, and I'd say it's a real possibility with him.
Well, for now, it's Donnie Moore and Todd Liston who's going to start at the front of this one, and still side by side behind between Goodman, and it appears as though Moore gets around, and calamity ensues, unfortunately. We are under yellow once again. And this was not so great, unfortunately, for our leader, Donnie Moore, who spins around and gets collected in the process Looks like Shane and Hilbert also still getting involved, so we're going to wait for this one to clear up a little bit so we can see exactly what happened.
Yeah, it looks like he had just a small tap from the 87 there, and it didn't take much to get him sent around there. And I couldn't tell. It was really tough to see if he was already loose before the 87 got to him, or if the contact's what broke him loose. It was that close, so that's a tough break for Donnie.
Absolutely heart-shattering for Donnie, and that will take him backwards as well. Now shown all the way back in 17th, and I don't know. I'm watching the replay. It looks like maybe Donnie just didn't really gas it a lot coming off the corner, or maybe Todd thought that it would be a little bit that he'd be able to get off a little bit more on the gas. But either way, nothing doing, and unfortunately a little love tap sent Donnie Moore right around and towards the back of the field. We did of course see a driver dip down onto pit lane there, watching Todd Liston now doing now serving possibly a penalty for doing so. He's now coming through the pits, so I have yet to hear from race control whether that is the case or not, but Liston now basically rejoining at the back end of the field, so possibly serving I don't know if that is a penalty, but it seemed very much like a penalty to go and serve.
The thing is, though, it looked, like I said, Donnie, I don't know if he was loose, and if you get loose, you tend not to want to get back in the throttle. You want to be able to get the car back under you, and if you're doing that at a place on the track where everybody's expecting to accelerate, that's what kind of happened there. And like I said, just from the replay, it was tough to see that, but I'm guessing by Todd taking the wave around there, or the drive through there, I'm going to guess that he probably accepted responsibility there for it.
That's how I'm going to take it, and that's how it worked out. Now we have a new leader, though. It's Michael Goodman. We haven't been talking about him, but he showed so much strength here in the BRL Super Late Model Series. He's in the lead, and don't look very far before you find a championship contender. It's J.R. Shepard getting into the side of Michael Goodman, not afraid to bang some door handles and go side by side. There they go through turn 4, side by side, still side by side into turn 1. And I'm seeing multiple battles happening right here. This battle between Shepard and Goodman. Now Shepard taking over control and able to actually take that position. And indeed, we do have another caution. I didn't catch where that one was. It looks like Hilbert and Liston.
And Donnie Moore got into it right about the flag stand there. It kind of looked like both two guys going for the same real estate there, and yeah, Hilbert got the raw end of the deal there.
Absolutely. Yep, just kind of came over, didn't realize that there was another car quite so close there.
Yeah, probably anticipated that he was going to wash out to the wall, and when he didn't there, that's probably where that contact led to. That kind of thing can happen. I would say that's kind of more incidental here, but right now is a good time to talk about the BRL and their rules too, because we've seen now a lot of contact. These guys do get a faster pair. They get one faster pair, and what that is guys can come into pit road, they pull in their pits, and it'll give them a brand new body and fix whatever damage is on the car. However, they cannot take tires, so you are stuck on the same set of tires at the beginning of this race as you're going to be at the end, so they've got to take care of their tires here.
Yeah, and obviously that will not give somebody an advantage over somebody else. However, if you're, say, J.R. Shepard or Michael Goodman, and you've got a few bangs on your car, but not enough to quite pull it into the pits, one of your competition gambles a little bit, has some damage, comes into the pits, gets fully fast repaired, they could potentially come out there and have a little bit better aero in the right situation and be able to gain an advantage. Not easy to do. You'd have to sacrifice track position to do so. But either way, I doubt J.R. Shepard would care. He would go out there and race really hard, as we just saw him take the fight to Michael Goodman side by side, stick the nose in there, and take that position. Shepard, multiple-time champion here in the BRL and elsewhere, and it continues to show. But we look elsewhere, and we can see Goodman up Couple of positions here tonight. Kurt Smith up 4 spots from where he started. Joseph Snyder having a good night tonight, up 7 spots. Chris Davis and Jeffrey Harden also up a great deal of spots, 11 and 9 spots respectively. And Lowell Jewell up there in that 7th spot restarting. Well, it's J.R. Shepard who is far clear of Michael Goodman on that restart. Kurt Smith now clear in 3rd position. It looks like Jeffrey Harden and Snyder still battling it out, although now that one looks to be clear. Chris Davis still racing side by side. Justin Morton trying to get up through the field there in 7th place. And so our championship 2nd place driver, Justin Morton, now up into 7th, with Austin Belke stuck back in 11th place and trying to find a way to get forward. So Morton having some good luck here tonight. We see Belke back there fighting to try to get by, and he does manage to fight and get by. So very quickly moving up there, and now you can see Belke up to 9th place. It's as though he was listening, John. He's listening, Belke, and just saying, I'm going to go up there and get that win. You know who won the race just before this in the late model series here over on sister station BRL TV? Uh-oh, we have an incident. It's 22 Bruce Pearson who's gotten loose and into the wall, and unfortunately the yellow flag out. But you know what I was just saying? You know who won the race just before this over on BRL TV, John?
I don't know who.
None other than Austin Belke. I did not mention that ahead of time, but Austin Belke, yes indeed. Now let's take a look at the screen, and you can see a replay here of the incident. You see that 22 spinning around. Looks like he got a little close there. Same thing, just kind of got close to the car that was on the inside and maybe got hooked up there. Maybe you can see it a little bit closer in your screen, John.
Looking at it right now, and yeah, he just didn't go up the track and then kind of stayed kind of towards that middle there, and the 79 coming out thought he would go out. Holding somebody down, I don't even know if the 70 or the 22 is trying to hold anybody down there. But when you're on the outside getting freight trains, you're wanting to stay low as you can to try to break them apart. But when you do that, you run that gamble. Someone on the bottom, wants to swing out of that corner. If they don't know you're taking a normal line out, that can happen. And we've seen it now happen, 3 or 4 times. And, like I said, it's a gamble that you play here, and you just got to be careful with it. You got to know who you're racing with and know the situation.
Absolutely, and it changes track by track which ones are more susceptible to that. Obviously,
Yes.
It depends on the angle of the exit wall and the track and how much banking there is with the line that comes through the corner, etc. So some tracks just a little bit worse for that sort of a problem, and this being one of them with that decreasing radius exit. And so unfortunately that really does catch some of these drivers off when they're not expecting another driver to take a different line than to ride it out to the outside and give them that inside. But nevertheless, hey, John, you got to keep it clean. That's the number one job out there. You got to keep it clean no matter how you do it for 100 laps.
Keep in mind too, this is a flat track, so arcing it in the corner means taking a wide exit and a wide entry. So you want to swing out as far as you can, so you can turn in to really keep speed up through the corner. So that's why everybody wants to swing out like that. And like you said, that's just a track unique thing here as we get ready to go green.
We're going green. J.R. Shepard steps on the loud pedal, and we're back underway. Michael Goodman slots back into 2nd, Kurt Smith into 3rd. It's shaken up a little bit behind with Jeffrey Harden and Joseph Snyder trying to exchange positions and places on the track. There's only so much room to do that with. But you see just behind that in 6th place, there he is, the number 9 car, 2nd place in the championship. He's trying to make the move forward and catch the leader in the championships, J.R. Shepard. He's only got a couple of races to get those extra few points over Shepard that he needs to, and Morton knows it's that ticking clock syndrome going on right now. He's in 6th. He's trying to move forward, and in the meantime, look who's closed just into his mirror. It is Austin Belke. Belke also making his bid for the championship. He's had to endure an end-of-line penalty, and a minus 5-point penalty for incidental contact last week. But he's doing everything he can right now, John, to try to get himself up there and try and keep this championship hope alive.
Yeah, these cautions have really helped both Morton and Belke come back up through the field here, you know, and especially Morton. He's been pretty lucky be able to start on the inside on a lot of these things. So every time we go to caution, he gets an inside starting position on a restart. He's making up a position or two, so good breaks are falling his way. We'll see if it continues to do so. We're still got a long way to go in this one.
Quite a ways to go, not even close to halfway yet, and J.R. Shepard continues to lead Michael Goodman. That's now up to about a 4 or 5 car length lead, and then just a car length back to Kurt Smith. It's been running that way since the restart and continues to run that way as these drivers continue to work on these tires, get them worn in more, see who can hang on the best over the length of the stint. And some of these drivers, more than others, going to be hoping that we stay green because they're better on that tire life, tire wear, and conserving their tires over the run. And you would expect the really experienced drivers out there, of course, a lot of this field very experienced, but the ones that have shown time and time again that they are the ones to come to the front at the end. Now, J.R. Shepard's already there, but you've got Justin Morton, Austin Belke right there ready to come forward. Joseph Snyder's been racing very well, and James Lowe has been very fast. They were taking a look on the screen as it looks like Brian Dean and Chris Davis having a battle, and now looks like Lowell Jewell getting up into that mix as well. So Lowell back in 15th now. He was running a little bit further up there for the VGN and BRL crew to root on for our home driver here, if we're allowed to do that. But Lowell sitting back there in 15th place and trying to have a great race. I know he just enjoys getting out there and getting back to what he loves to do, which is race. But back up at the front, nothing's changing at all, John. We're waiting for these tires to wear from these cars, but it looks like it's a long wait. You got to be real patient for that opportunity to open up.
Yeah, you know, and if you don't, we can see what can happen, contact and, you know, cautions. But if you push this too hard with this no banking, remember, I'm going to go back to this being a flat track. There's no banking to help turn these cars. These guys are using their tires to turn on this flat surface. So if you push too hard, the last 20, 25 laps you could find yourself in a free fall if you abuse your equipment.
Absolutely. That banking, so crucial to helping to preserve the life of the tires over that run. You would think, as I just saw Morton drop out for a second again, so we'll keep an eye on that and see whether he can hang in there with the technical difficulties. But indeed, this is turning into a tire conservation race more than anything, and sometimes that's the way it is, but you can imagine another 30 to 40 laps on these tires and they're going to start moving around. We're going to start having some fast moving, sideways moving race cars out here. Super late model cars do get a little squirrely when those right rear tires start wearing off.
Get sideways, which is where, hey, I like it. I'm a dirt guy and these guys aren't on dirt, so yeah, being sideways in one of these are not a good thing.
How to keep it under you, and that is what J.R. Shepard is doing. He came to the front here just before we had another caution and was able to take that position from Michael Goodman and has not looked back, though. Goodman's actually been keeping really good pace, and he's not really holding anybody up. In fact, from what it would appear here, we see the 39 making contact with the rear of the 44, and then that kind of stacks things up a little bit, going back to the 9 and the 24. So Morton and Belke, the 9 and the 24, getting held up, checked up in that a little bit there as Snyder was getting very close to the rear end of Hardin. And so fortunately nobody did get spun around in that incident, but you can see how quick that things can change. And that's exactly what I was just about to say, is you've got to be patient and wait for these things to develop, wait for your opportunities. But when they arrive, when that gap opens, John, it's time to go. It's go time to take that spot.
Yeah, especially now that we moved into the second half of the race. If there's an opportunity there, you have to pounce. You're not going to get too many more of those chances probably between now and then of the race, especially the way these guys seem to be going. Everybody seems pretty committed to being right on that yellow line in the corners. Nobody looks like they're over driving the corners or anything like that, so it looks like everybody's doing a good job keeping their equipment under them. So yeah, when you've got that opportunity, you better strike.
And trying to strike they are, but there's only so many opportunities. You just got to be patient, and you've got to keep your mind in the right place, not get over aggressive. We've seen some of the drivers do that over the course of the season, and unfortunately suffer penalties and suffer setbacks in the championship, because those contacts that you make, as we see the 39 start to take a look at, once again, Joseph Snyder trying to take a look on the low side on Jeffrey Harden as he starts to push up the pass. Now we see Goodman kind of stacking up a little bit as well, so we might start to see the tires starting to play a role. And as you said, it's a flat track, so because there is no banking, it's going to put that extra load on these tires, so they've got to survive. I mean, if they've been out there really driving the tires off of this car, they have got to now survive for 40 plus laps on this same set of tires. Should be a lot of fun to watch here as we do see the 39 starting to slip back. That's Joseph Snyder having an issue and slipping back now.
Yeah, he overdrove the corner a little bit and went up the track, and then like you said, you got to pounce, and that's exactly what the number 9 there of Justin Morton did. Austin Belkey followed him through, and so does the quick man in the practice, James Lowe, in that 99. But I do want to give a quick shout out to the number 6 of Kurt Smith. He had a fantastic run last week for a good part of that race, and once again he has found himself up front. So a couple weeks in a row, that's a good way to get some momentum towards the end of the season for Kurt there.
Absolutely, and Kurt is one of those drivers who gets talked about often. He's actually 6th in the championship right now, and you know, it's really an interesting thing to watch these championships develop over the whole season, because you got a guy like Kurt who now finds himself in a podium position here tonight and could very regularly find himself in podium position territory, or possibly even in victory territory. And what's so interesting is he just seems to have that luck that he just doesn't get those podium positions as often as he should. But he's just as competitive as Morton or anyone else in this field, and so look for Kurt Smith to really take the rest of this season seriously, and possibly starting tonight with that podium position. If he can hold on, there's still so far left to go. You got to hold on to these tires, John.
Yeah, absolutely. But pay window is starting to get ready to be open here, and I'll tell you, JR has got a little bit of a lead, but it hasn't stretched out. But JR is good about managing the lead, but there are lap cars not too far off in the distance in front of our leader here. So if we continue to go green, those lap cars can maybe JR will probably get around them pretty easy, but the second group here, it could break them up a little bit and present some opportunities for one of these guys maybe to pick up a spot or to lose a spot, depending on how they catch the lap traffic.
Absolutely. Bruce Pearson's a bit off pace here, so that could be definitely an issue. JR's so skilled at picking through these drivers that happen to go a lap down, and it's quite an art, John. I mean, it really is just figuring out, should I go low, should I go high? Sometimes there's an etiquette to it. Sometimes the other driver sort of decides for you and they go up the track. But then again, that's another situation as we watch JR here having to navigate the low side on Bruce Pearson and put him a lap down. Officially for the night, he is the first car a lap down, and Steve Hilbert is the first car who is out of the race. But JR's, he's so skilled that it's that lightning quick reflexes that make a great race car driver excellent, and JR seems to be able to do it each and every single week and pick his way through these things and not end up getting into an accident like Kurt Smith does. And it's just, you can't really pinpoint anything in particular, just that these drivers are so talented at being able to pick their way through the field, whether it's from the back to the front or from the front picking their way through the lap cars as they make their way through.
Yeah, and we need to give a shout out to both those guys that he just lapped. They got up and out of the way there, and that's one thing about this league. Everybody is very, very respectful and very aware of what's going on around them for the most part. So that's a sign of good sportsmanship. They get up, get out of the way, not affect the leaders here. Like I said, they got through on the first one, didn't break them apart. But if they catch them in the middle of the straightaway or something like that, that could mess up their angle into the corner. That's why I thought maybe it'd break them apart a little bit. But it looks like they're staying up and out of the way, and everybody will carry on and resume their battles here.
Everybody continuing their battles on track, but it's basically a strategic battle, as it has been most of tonight, just trying to slowly grind away at the tire wear of your opponents, trying to match out Fox your opponents, and just sneak away to get your nose inside. That has been the story here tonight, as it is many weeks, but especially with the lack of ability to get that banking run here, it really has been difficult to try to get around. And that's what Langley's known for. That's why you have to work for a win or a second or a third place. And we're watching J.R. Shepherd put on a master clinic out in front, making it through lap 75, now on lap 76. Michael Goodman and Kurt Smith round out your top three. Jeffrey Harden up 11 spots tonight, and Justin Morton, there he is. He's championship contender. Well, he's in fifth, but he's going to have to do a lot better than that to get those extra points that he needs away from J.R. Shepherd. Otherwise, he's trying to do his best to keep ahead of Austin Belke. Belke is just 10 points back in that championship, so every single point, every single position that he can stay ahead of Belke, crucial to holding on to second, as we mentioned, in the championship. When we look back, of course, there is James Lowe, as we did talk about. John, James is just, he has been so fast. He was fast in the practice. Unfortunately, he's just a part-time entry here in this season, and so hopefully we'll get more James Lowe back in this series, because he's running with Austin Belke and Justin Morton. If you can do that, hey, that means you got a shot at a win.
Yeah, J.R. Shepherd's kind of stretched the lead out a little bit. The real battle now is from second on back, but I'm kind of wondering now if Goodman isn't starting to lose the handle here and stacking these guys up here. And there, just as I say that, Goodman goes up the track, open the bottom there for Kurt. Kurt couldn't fill the hole there, so I'm starting to kind of think that we're finally starting to see these tires maybe come into effect here for these last about 18 laps or so.
Absolutely, about another 8 more laps or so, and I'd like everybody to join us in a moment of silence, a lap of silence for Scotty Kurt. So we will be doing that here momentarily. We greatly appreciate everybody joining us for that lap of silence for Scotty Zirk, who passed away, unfortunately. And just as I say that, we do have an incident on the track there. You can see it. It's involving some of the big players. We've got several drivers around. It's Jeffrey Harden, who's now sideways on the track, the number 44 car. Sideways, bringing out that caution flag. And we didn't get to fully talk about Scotty, but I think if Austin can get up there, well, either way, we'll hope to get a word with him afterwards, and he can tell us a little bit about what it's like to race against Scotty in the post-race interviews. But we do appreciate everybody joining us for that lap of silence. And so what can you tell us about what happened there, John? Yeah,
just as right before we were just talking, the 28 there definitely is losing the grip on those tires and slowed down enough, a little more than what Kurt Smith anticipated, got in the back of them. Then they get back into the other corner. They're all jumbled up, and unfortunately for Jeffrey Harden there, he kind of got a little more help and got turned around there a little bit.
And that's been the story here tonight. As I was just saying, yes, indeed, you can get a little over anxious. And it wasn't as though Kurt was getting over anxious, but unfortunately, it's just there's nowhere to go. I mean, sometimes you think that the driver in front's going to go. I mean, I'm not the race admin to make a call like that of whether somebody's at fault or not at fault or what. But I'm just saying it's so difficult when you're in that cockpit. You have to make a split-second decision. You're racing for the lead in this broadcasted race in front of, tens of thousands of virtual fans in the stands and lots of fans over on YouTube. We do appreciate all of you joining us over on YouTube, by the way, and make sure to subscribe here to Virtual Grip Network. You get all of the races here for the Super Late Model Series. But, you just get a little over-anxious maybe with your right foot, just gassing it up a little bit too much, and when somebody bobbles in front of you, you can't avoid it, right, John?
You really can't. For nose to tail for so many laps, you start to kind of get in a rhythm, and you can time what drivers are doing and stuff like that. And if all of a sudden, if the guy in front of you, when you're on their bumper, the back end, we saw it earlier with Donnie, the back end gets a little loose, so you don't accelerate. Well, when you don't accelerate in a zone that you should be accelerating, it's real easy to get into the back of somebody when they don't go. And, for the most part, where these cars are going to get loose is on corner exit. Well, the only way to keep yourself from spinning is getting out of the gas. And when you do that, when everybody else is in the gas, that's where the contact is happening here. But we're going to line them back up here. And I'll tell you, Justin Morton and Austin Belke are on the outside. That James Lowe is on the inside along with Kurt Smith. Watch that inside line. See if those guys can get down. If not, they could head right to the back here.
This is going to be a tricky one. They know they have only 9 more to go once they hit that stripe, and that is going to be over in a blink of an eye. So look for these drivers on that inside line, and it is J.R. Shepard. He manages to get quite a jump, but it was not Kurt Smith in the inside line who got a better run, although there he manages to pull it alongside and through in the corner. That banking giving no help whatsoever to Morton, who now slips all the way back to 5th position. He had gotten up there just alongside of Kurt Smith. It looked that he might be able to get by, but unfortunately not able to. Goodman there in the 28 in 2nd place. Smith in 3rd. Lowe having gotten now up into that 4th spot. And looks like Dean and Morton now racing side by side there for 6th place.
Yeah, Morton's hung up on the outside. Belke is able to get down right in front of Lowell Jewell there and is now on the bottom. Looks like he probably is going to end up following Dean past Morton here, and Morton's going to continue to slide back as I just don't see an opening that he's going to slide down into.
And we've got Bruce Pearson, unfortunately, getting sideways on the track, and so that will bring out the yellow flag. We'll get a chance to check that out. Sorry to cut you off there, John.
No, we're good. Oh, yeah, that both Pearson and the 7 there of
Chris Davis.
Yeah, Chris Davis kind of got together there. They both actually did a good job and actually not to wreck themselves. Wow, but that's going to be a big break for Justin Morton. He's going to stop the bleeding from now, but I think he fell back to 8th, so it's going to stop the bleeding. Guess what? He's going to be on the outside for this restart.
Oh my goodness. Well, look for Mad Morton to come up through the field from 8th place. He got shuffled back, and now he's behind Belke. This is his worst nightmare. Not only is he not up in the lead and taking a chance at getting the points lead away from J.R. Shepard, but now after leading and being in front of his nemesis, who's in 3rd place, Austin Belke, he's shuffled back behind. So, oh my goodness, what will happen here in the final laps of tonight's race? Once again, so great to have you with us here on Virtual Grip Network, joining us for the Bootleg Racing League's Super Late Model Series, as you can catch us here every Saturday night right here on Virtual Grip Network. Same time every Saturday night, 9 o'clock. It's basically our go live time. So make sure you get us subscribed, like this video for more of these great videos, and also check out our sister station. We're getting a lot of great programming over there. John, you've got a lot to say about this new sprint car trail that you are a part of, and that's happening over on BRL TV.
sprint car trail. We're fashioned it after the USAC of about the 1960s or so, when USAC used to run a national championship trail, basically, and they would run asphalt, dirt, some super speedways. So we're running the Silver Crown cars at about a mile, big tracks at about a mile. I think the biggest one we'll go to is Gateway, which is actually 1.3, I think. And then we'll go to the regular asphalt sprints. Then we go to the dirt non-wing 360 sprints, and then we'll run the midgets. So you're going to get a full taste of USAC. Anybody that wants to come out, sign up for it. You can go to BRL, bootlegracingleague.com, and sign up for it. And I'll tell you, we're going to do a asphalt champion, a dirt champion, an overall champion, and then each car is also going to see one a champion. So you can win a championship in maybe the midget, get an overall, or whatever the case might be. It's just going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
That is so exciting. Good stuff coming. And here we have the white flag. It's J.R. Shepard. He's going to take probably the win, but the race is on behind. We've got James Lowe trying to take over that position from Joseph Snyder for the final podium. It is going to be Kurt Smith, and James Lowe not able to get 4 spot away from Joseph Snyder there at the line. But J.R. Shepard does it again. So J.R. Shepard taking victory after taking victory in Martinsville. He now comes back and storms to victory here at Langley. What a fantastic run for Shepard. We're going to go ahead and step away here, and we'll come back for the full race results and get a chance to talk to our race winner and the rest of the podium finishers right here on Virtual Grip Network. Stay tuned.
This is the world's premier online racing simulation. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat from your home computer with the most realistic online motorsports experience you'll find anywhere. Race virtually in the world's biggest events with officially licensed series, cars, and tracks. From the high banks of Daytona to the blistering speeds of Indianapolis, the dirt of Eldora to the world's most legendary road courses. It's all here, and with more than 180,000 people just like you already driving, you'll always have someone to race. Ready to get behind the wheel? Sign up at iRacing.com to get started.
And welcome back to Langley Speedway. We've just finished up here for the Bootleg Racing League Super Late Model Series, and it was none other than J.R. Shepard of Different Path Motorsports who takes the victory. He's done it a couple of weeks running now, and it's not a surprise to see him up there, but the fashion in which he does it is with authority, and it seems to be his championship to win this season. We'll see going forward. Quite a statement tonight, though. Heads up to this driver joining us who's going to be in second place tonight. Michael Goodman taking second. That is a fantastic finish for him. And Kurt Smith to finish in third place tonight. Great podium position for him. And we were talking so much about his potential to take those podium positions. Now he's actually done it, and we'll get a chance to talk to him here tonight. Joseph Snyder taking fourth spot tonight, defending from James Lowe. There we saw it in that final lap, and quite a good defense from him. Brian Dean and Justin Morton with Austin Belkey. So Morton does, in fact, get back by Belkey. We missed that pass, but he did, in fact, get back by, and so that will, in fact, keep him in second place in the championship. Lowell Jewell taking ninth place in tonight's race. Great for him and great for VGN as well. And Jeffrey Harden taking 10th place. And John?
11th is going to be the 81 of Joe Segala, followed by the 26 of Donnie Moore, who had trouble early on in the race, was leading early in the race, actually. Finishing 13th is going to be the number 80 of Kevin Moody. Next behind him will be the 87 of Todd Liston. Finishing 15th is going to be Chris Davis. 16th will be Bruce Pearson. 17th, Adam Shane. And rounding out the field today, and the number 10 is going to be Stephen Hilbert.
Well, we're waiting for, let's see here if we can drag possibly Kurt Smith up here and get a word with him. In fact, and there, he's just popping in, so let's see if we can grab him. So let's go ahead and talk to Kurt Smith first. Kurt, hey, you got me, buddy?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, welcome to the Gargamel's Kitchen Victory Circle discussion here. Podium finisher Kurt Smith. We were talking tonight about how you have been running so well this season here in the Super Late Model Series, and that basically it's your time to shine and get some of these podium positions. How did you feel about it tonight? You held off quite a few challenges. Must have been quite a race for you.
Yeah, it was a very tough race. Michael ran a good race in front of me, and JR kept everybody right on my tail the whole time. I got some front end damage in that first accident, and I started pushing pretty bad towards the end.
And that was what we were concerned with. So tell us how that affected there at the end of the race. Obviously, everybody's still on those same tires that they have to start the race with. So you guys all out there running real hard, and this track has no banking. Something had to give towards the end of the race. It seemed like those who had some tires were finding a little bit of grip out there, and those who didn't and maybe had some damage, they were suffering sliding back. How was it for you?
Yeah, the damage earlier really made me kill my right front faster than I wanted. So I know I was holding people up behind me that had a lot better tires than I did, because they had saved them a little bit better.
They did, but they tried and they were not able to overcome Kurt. So who do you have to thank for tonight, and what do you think about going forward, your shot here at maybe a second or possible victory here in the Bootleg Racing League?
Well, I want to thank Gargamel's Kitchen for being a great sponsor, you guys for the great broadcast, Lowell for the league. It's a great league. All the guys in the league, very great, clean group of guys to race with. Any contact's incidental and definitely accidental. It's been a good race. We'll see how I do next week. Right now, I'm just hoping to get back to 5th in the points. That's about all the farther I can go, and hopefully we can get another podium next week.
Well, targeting 5th in the points is quite an accomplishment with a stacked field like this, and once again taking 3rd place here tonight with some very talented drivers who gave it their all to try to get by. Congratulations, and we have great things in mind for you, I believe, for the future. Good luck, Kurt.
Thank you. Y'all have a good week.
You too, bud. So that is Kurt Smith joining us from 3rd place on the track, and now I think John is caught up to our 2nd place finisher, Michael Goodman.
John, up at the booth, you got a copy?
You talking to me, John?
I sure am. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, John. How are you?
I'm doing well, but hey, I'm not doing nearly as well as you. You held on for 2nd here tonight. Good battles all the way through. You're able to hold those guys off. How much car did you have left at the end there?
If that caution didn't come out, I was a cooked goose. My tires were done. I was doing everything in my power to try to keep Kurt behind me, and he had greater pace, a hell of a lot more pace than I did, and I just want to thank him for racing me clean and racing me the way he did.
Well, I tell you, that's another strong showing by you here, and I know it's towards the end of the season, but this really builds momentum up for you, heading into the future and maybe even starting the next season here. What are you looking forward to? Where do you think you need to improve to get up there and be dominant up there like where JR is?
You know what? I just got to improve on every aspect. Every aspect, period, if I want to be, the likes of JR and all those other guys. There's always, put it this way, there's always room for improvement, and I do have a lot of improvement to do.
you're knocking on the door here, and I don't think it's going to be too far before you're a perennial guy to beat, one of the guys to beat when you show up here, if you're not already there, to be honest with you. Another good race here tonight. Who would you like to give a shout-out to?
I'd like to give a shout-out to you guys at Virtual Grip Network. You guys do a great job every week in and week out. I want to give Lowell, thumbs up for running the league. And also want to give a big thank you to our main sponsor, Gargamel Kitchen, for sponsoring this, these races.
Again, congratulations, Mike. We hope to see you back out next week and see if we can talk to you again.
I appreciate it. Thanks. You guys have a nice night.
Yep, you too. That's Mike Goodman, our second place finisher here tonight at Langley.
Well, John, that was actually really interesting. And I didn't mention it very much during the race, but of course, Kurt Smith and Michael Goodman actually really very close in that points battle for 5th place in the championship. They were just separated by 1 point coming into tonight's race. So we'll have to see how that ends up there with them stacking up 2nd and 3rd, but it'll be tight for the end of this season. And again, it means so much. Even if you're not finishing up in the first 1 or 2 positions, it does mean so much to end up there in 5th. Okay, well, let's see if we can grab our race winner here. He's managed to dust off some of the champagne that's been sprayed on him and make his way over here to get interviewed. Hey, JR, can you hear me? And congratulations on a fantastic dominance here again tonight.
Yeah, I got you, Trevor. Thank you, man. That was a tough race at the beginning, at least, having to start on the outside, but had some things work out for sure. And unfortunately, Justin had some connection issues. I guess the good thing is it happened early for him, but that's one of the things you just can't control. It's the equivalent of having a part failure in real life. So kind of sucked to see that happen. But after that, the race was pretty uneventful, thankfully.
Well, you did manage to make it quite eventful. When the green flag dropped there on lap 16, you managed to stick your nose in on a very tough character, Michael Goodman, and you managed to take that position for 1st place, and you basically didn't look back. But that was a fairly aggressive move going in there. Did you size him up ahead of time? Did you think, okay, on this green flag, I'm going to try to take it, or did it just feel right at the moment when you did it?
Yeah, definitely not. I didn't want to be on the outside or in an even position. It's so hard to try to get a good restart when you're on the outside here, and I was more worried about getting down to the inside lane, and when I went into the corner, I thought he had a good enough gap that there was no way I was going to be able to get a run on him, and I was able to roll the bottom a little bit better than him, and knew I had a run, and at the same time, he was starting to come back down the track. So, yeah, it was really close on a corner exit there. I was afraid I was about to get into him by accident, but thankfully wasn't, and was able to pull away a little bit after that. But, that was just by mistake, to be honest with you.
Well, due to the characteristics of the track not having much banking, that outside line is not as useful as it can be elsewhere. Otherwise, he was fighting you hard there on the outside, would have held tight if he had had maybe a little bit more help. But JR, what was the night like for you? We saw you take a big lead there at the end, and it didn't look like you had too much trouble with the navigating the lap traffic, but were the tires much of an issue? Did you start to feel them going away? Because some of the other drivers were really complaining.
Yeah, it's weird, Trevor. The tire wear itself doesn't really go away. The tire temperatures obviously go up, and that creates a bit of a push in these cars, a lot more than where it was when we started. So you could kind of drive the car with the throttle up off the corner at the beginning of a run. But as the run goes on, the car gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and just makes you want to turn left harder in the corner, and that just makes the situation worse. So once I got the lead, it was just about running a line to try to conserve the tire temperature and try not to let it get too hot. And with about 30 to go, I was trying to see what the car had left in it and kind of pulled away a little bit. But it's extremely easy to burn up your stuff here, and it's extremely easy to mess up your line while you're running here. If you hit the line right, you can put a good lap time in, and if you miss it by just a couple of inches on entry, you can be 0.3 of a second slower the next lap. So really tough night, but I was just once out front just trying to conserve the tires.
Well, it was still an exciting move, trying to take that position, and again, mastering the heat buildup in these tires, such a key role for not only taking that position, but holding on through the rest of the race and being able to finish and take the win and potentially solidify. Difficult for Mr. Morton to come up through the field and be able to get the championship back for you, but we'll wait for the officials to declare that. Nonetheless, anybody you got to thank for tonight, and any thoughts about going forward in the championship?
Yeah, just first of all, thanks to the Bootleg Racing League for giving us a place to run on Friday and Saturday nights, and with a group of guys that's pretty respectful when you race them. You've seen some hard racing tonight, but everything's as clean as it can possibly be most of the time, so it's great to have. And want to thank our title sponsor, Gargamel's Kitchen, for being around for as long as they have. We really appreciate what they do for the league, and to my team, Different Path Motorsports. And yeah, just to answer your question about next week, I think we're going to Myrtle Beach. It's a really tough track. It's going to be high on tire wear, and you're going to have to pay attention to how hard you're driving that car early in the run. And unfortunately, Justin's starting up front, so anything can happen in these races. We've seen a lot of carnage at Myrtle Beach in the past, especially up off of turn 2, so it'd be very easy to get caught up in a wreck and end your night. So we'll just have to be as safe as we can and then race from there.
Absolutely. Anyone else to thank before we let you go for the night?
Oh, yeah, definitely forgot about you guys at the Virtual Grip Network side. We appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you.
Trevor and Ryan being great directors on the races that you guys do throughout the week and on the weekend. So appreciate everything you do. And to John and you for being in the booth tonight.
Well, we appreciate you, and I'll see you Tuesday night, bud.
Yep, appreciate it, Trevor. We'll see you. Thank you.
So that was J.R. Shepard joining us here, fresh out of the cockpit. He dominated the race here tonight. He took Martinsville, he's taken Langley, and he's probably going to take the championship here again in the Bootleg Racing League Super Late Model Series. And John, it was a heck of a night tonight, but what did you think? I mean, this was a difficult track to pass on here at Langley. Everybody knows it. We saw a couple of drivers really struggling off of the corners with their exit, getting caught unaware. But then you've got a master like J.R. Shepard picking one exact time to make a pass for the victory. And of course, that's selling him a little short because he had made a bunch of passes before that point. But 7 positions gained. The cream rises to the top. How did you feel, John?
It was an entertaining race. I thought these guys did a good job managing a difficult track. We saw above average number of cautions here tonight, but that can be expected with a flat track. The car changing, its handling changing throughout the runs. But all in all, like I said, entertaining. We saw some guys up front come to the back. We saw some guys that ended up in the back come back up to the front, and can't wait to see what happens at Myrtle Beach next week. That's going to be another fun track that presents its own set of challenges, and I'm sure these guys will put on another good show for us.
Well, unfortunately, we'll actually have to wait 2 weeks for that. That's because we have this next week off for Labor Day weekend, but then the following Saturday, mark it on your calendar, September 10th, Championship Decider from Myrtle Beach. And as John says, going to be a struggle, but we expect everybody to show up for the fight. And, we don't know whether anybody's locked out in the championship yet. So we'll see everybody there then. And of course, we do have Gargamel's Kitchen to thank. Gargamel's Kitchen is a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, proud sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. Visit their office at 2045 South Valencia Street, or give them a call at 720-707-6178. Proud sponsor. And so then the very next race that we have here on the BRL Super Late Model Series broadcast will be Saturday, September 10th from Myrtle Beach Speedway, live at 9 p.m. right here on Virtual Grip Network. And the next VGN broadcast of all will be August 30th, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. The PGRL Premier Series live from Daytona International Speedway should be a barn burner. Don't miss it. So myself, Trevor Greenfield, on behalf of me, the Virtual Grip Network team, which includes John Hine, who joined me here tonight, as well as Ryan Seneker in the broadcast booth and in the production truck, controlling all of those cameras, doing a fantastic job. On behalf of everybody, we wish you a wonderful night and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Until next time, bye-bye, everybody.